Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. And your eyes are not deceiving you. This is actually Space Engineers. Yeah. I waited until morning so that I could actually see where I was driving. But when morning came around, there's a goddamn sandstorm. Damn it. This planet doesn't want me to leave. It's just like, oh, you're not going anywhere. Oh, you've only got like 10 kilometers to go until you get out of here. Well, here's the sandstorm. Okay. So, yes, we got 9.3 kilometers into the Horseshoe Oasis until we're back at our starting point. But we need to get through all of this stuff. And, like, I was going to send the Raven up again and scout my route a little bit, but with this kind of weather, that's not happening, because I would just crash into everything. So, like, even my spotlights don't give me anything in terms of visibility. What am I supposed to do here? Silly freaking sandstorm. I guess just crawl along and maybe get some progress. Just trying to not run into anything that'll cause massive damage to the rover and see what we can do. Just keep it down to like under 15 meters a second or something. So that way I don't explode if I randomly touch something. Like, oh my god, I'm going over these bumps and I don't even realize. But anywho, because there's basically nothing interesting to look at, we can talk about Season 4. Because it is almost time for that, and I pretty much have it ready. One of the reasons why this episode was a bit delayed is that I took some time last week, and I sat down, found a whole bunch of mods that I want to put in Season 4, loaded them all into a test world, and then built a bunch of random stuff in creative, just to see if they would work together, if they would play nice, or if they would break like crazy. And it seems that everything's going to be playing nice. And, jeez. What is this cliff I'm driving off of? I don't like this. Let me go back and go to the right of this. That sounds like a good idea. Also, can I... Those headlights, can I increase the radius at all? And I'll increase their intensity to max. Maybe that'll just give me a bit more light out there. Wonderful. So, when it comes to Season 4, the main component is industrial overhaul. Because I really want to give that a try. I want to see what it's like having to do, like, multiple crafting steps in order to build a thing, or to, you know, have multiple bases, because that, like, it changes ore spawns as well completely. Like, no longer do you have these tiny little ore patches. You have ore patches that are like a kilometer square. These huge patches of ore, but it's one ore, and they're kilometers apart from each other. And there are some rocks ahead of me. God, I don't want to drive through there. Let's see if we can go around. And so you have these, like, these giant patches of ore, and they're very far apart. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, satellite bases. Maybe have a main crafting base, and then a bunch of satellite bases that do different processes and function on different materials. And another one I was thinking to go with that is, like, I don't want to have to build up like our production in each one of these bases. This is going to be annoying. And I don't want to make a giant mega super base like I did in Season 2, because that just gets silly. So this mod is so cool. It's like this tethers, and you like put down like a power pole and like run a power line across the terrain. And I am just like, frick yes, I'm making power lines and running power poles instead of connecting all my grids on the same grid. And then we're gonna have water mod, so that we'll be able to transport stuff on boats using like we'll make like cargo ships and have to like sail around the ocean in order to transport materials from one resource patch to another, which is going to be really awesome. Yeah, and that's the idea. We're going to have industrial overhaul with a bunch of mods to encourage me to make satellite bases and not like satellite orbit, you know what I mean, just like off bases, and we'll have all sorts of logistics. And God, where am I? Oh, I'm bumping over a rock there that I couldn't even see. And I am really excited about that. We'll do the aerodynamics mod, like not just the wing blocks that I had this season, but like full-on aerodynamics, so that way I can build my own wings and build my own like planes. I'll have like cargo planes flying around, and it'll be glorious. So I got all that set up in a world. I think I've got the mod list dialed in, and realistically, it's probably only maybe going to be like a week or two in between Season 3 ending and Season 4 beginning. So I would bet we're going to see Season 4 begin in October, which is exciting. And the weather is finally clearing, and I'm able to see a little bit of where I'm going. We are getting close to the Horseshoe Oasis. We've got 7 kilometers to go in this very annoying terrain. It's not difficult. It's just, it's requiring me to be like, oh, 1 second, gotta back up, gotta make this turn, like, my turn radius sucks. It's like trying to drive a boat. Gotta bump over this hill, you know. Thank God for my booster thrusters in the back, or this thing just simply wouldn't have enough strength to drive its fat butt as I run into these titanium trees. But where be that enemy base? Because it was right at the foot of the Horseshoe Oasis, right? And my, oh, jeez, what did I break? That was just some armor. That looks like it was just some armor. The wheel still looks like it's moving. It doesn't look like I punched through. Okay. The undercarriage took another hit for me. Thank you, undercarriage. You are a lifesaver. I'm gonna go hard left here. I feel like there's a better path over on this way. This just feels too bumpy. Another thing I'm really looking forward to is finally getting back into the air. After doing this several-month journey around this planet, my character is ready to stretch his wings, get back into flying, and re-enable his jetpack so that I will be able to do all of the building and cool stuff required of me. This is, oh my god, this is a cool cliff face here. Can I bump down this without exploding? Is a very good question. Okay. If I go to the right there, I'd have to deal with that other rock there. Like, what happens if I just go straight forward here? Do I have enough clearance between all of my different bits and bobs? If I bounce on this, that'll get me up high enough to bounce over that. Oh, you all-terrain beast, Mastodon. I might lose some bit more undercarriage, but that's okay. We're getting through. Excellent. And now I believe I can just start to make out the shape of the mountains around the Horseshoe Oases. I'm just getting the shape of it. We're so close to home. It makes me want to just go like full speed here and just get there real quick. But I know that if I do that, I'm going to end up absolutely destroying myself. Silicon nickel here. Still gotta put these in, as the company is paying me for each one that I mark up here. So I'll need to use that money as seed money for the next series. Which reminds me, I have to think of like, how I'm gonna start the next series. Like, Season 2, I started with the jump jack, that little chip, so I could do, like, basic merchant activities, fly around to the different stations on the moon, and buy and sell ores as I mined them. And then Season 3, I started with the bison, so I could be on the road immediately. I wouldn't ever have to make a stationary grid. But now I'm wondering, should I start Season 4 with just the respawn pod? Or should I do another, like, bison-esque start here? I'm gonna take this left turn. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, there's some benefits and there's some downsides for having like a bison-like start. So if I start this industrial overhaul with a functional vehicle, with batteries, with engines and that kind of stuff, that's actually like, that would not be possible for me to create until I've done a fair amount of logistics in the industrial overhaul mod. It would speed it up for sure, but if I just started with the respawn pod, you get the entire industrial overhaul thing from like what it's like to start playing it. But we're probably gonna miss out on like several episodes of me where I could have had mobility early, had some logistics early, because the thing has a medium cargo container, so I can carry some stuff around and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me know which way you think it is, because I could just start with like a bison like little rover, or even just my own lander that has a little bit higher functionality rather than the default spawn pod with just its survival kit. Okay. There is the Horseshoe Oases ridgeline. And I think, yeah, I see the assert base. Okay. I'm going to pause up here, park. The guns are all on, so not worried about that. We're going to take control of the Raven. It is still back in Sandstorm land. So we really just drove out of the Sandstorm. We will turn off your park, and I guess just get into the air, and then just get some height, because I don't know where the terrain is. and then just fly out of that sandstorm. Excellent. Because I want to see exactly where this enemy base is and see if I can take some pot shots at it, or who knows, maybe throw together a really quick missile and fire it at this enemy base, because I have a ton of resources that I should be using to attack them. But there's the bison, there's the mastodon. We will take direct control back, and there's the enemy base. Looks like a decent pathway off to the side. Oh, there's an AI spawn. It's okay. The rover's here, and the turrets are active, so they should rip that thing to shreds as it comes in. And they certainly do. Yeah, okay, so if I go from there, I can turn left here. I can continue along this way, skirting left. This is a decent path. Bumpity bump over there, and then that puts me into a place where I can drive right to that enemy base. Okay, this works. I am going to take my little ship here, and we'll go plunk its butt down just on the other side of this hill. So that way it is somewhat protected. Coming on down. Donk. Hard landing, but easy peasy. Yeah. Park. Okay. So we are going to take to the left here. Oh, there's a Helios. That wasn't there when I drove through here the first time. That must have crashed recently. Down. Excellent. Guns are still plenty of ammo, right? Still tons of ammo in this. We should be able to just drive... Honestly, actually just drive right up. I mean, we'll take a look at what that enemy base has by popping into one of my drones here and zooming in with its camera, but more than likely we should just be able to overpower it with firepower. We have the PDCs, we have the main turret, so we should just be able to shoot it up. And I mean, if we lose some of our PDC, that's okay. We're essentially done the series anyway. Even if I have to abandon the Mastodon, I'm only got to drive another 2 kilometers. So, here we go. Like we've done this before, we will take the front wheels, and we should height offset them all the way down. So that way, my back wheels are a bit higher, and it's going to give that front turret some more gun depression, as it simply does not have the depression to be able to shoot something that is the same height as it or below it, because the Mastodon gets in the way. So hopefully this will work, and I can always back my butt up against something else in order to raise it up and get some more shots down range. I'm gonna swing left here. I'm gonna go over into that open area Maybe get slightly up on the hill, so that way I can have my butt be slightly higher and get a better angle of attack. And that fleeting rival, freaking shredded. Woo! God, I love shredding AIs with that. The power of rotor turrets. They may be fragile, but they put out some DPS when you want them to. Got a good position relatively here. We'll just straighten out a bit and then just take a peek with one of the drones and drive right in and just shoot the shit out of this thing. Or we can just start shooting. We're too close. We're too close. Okay. Remote. Let's take a look at the Gopher. Let's get the most stable camera. Let's take a look. So we've already shot it up a bunch. There's a turret there. Just a small turret. An antenna. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much there anymore. We can just let this thing go nuts then, I guess. Oh no, don't shoot up my own ship. We'll go in on an angle here so that one PDC has a good firing line. Oh, beautiful. Oh my god. We evaporated that thing. It's just gone. Hell yeah. This enemy base could not withstand the power that is rotor turrets. And it has been demolished. Very successful. Okay. Well, with that being complete, and us back here, that's kind of... I thought that thing would be more of a challenge. That's too bad. But sometimes you don't get sometimes things don't work out exactly as you wanted to. We'll grab onto our Raven here, lift off the side of that hill, and we'll go land ourselves into the Horseshoe Oases. And then all you have to do is just drive in. We'll unload the Bison. And is that it? Are we done? We've successfully circumnavigated the planet. We can go and take a look at all of the different places that we've been. And we can go fly through our route and see how we've done over the past several months. And God, so many episodes. Someone just go park this little ship up. Stay there, please. And the Gopher's reattached. Oh no, definitely lift up our front wheels again. There we go. And get our butts turned around. Although we did shoot off something, didn't we? Yes. The connector on that side is smoking. So, bad PDC. You're not supposed to shoot the ship that you're designed to protect. Although, I did kind of add that connector as an afterthought, thinking that the PDC, oh, that would be the furthest thing out on that side, so as long as I just allow it to only shoot forward, it won't cause any damage. And then I added a connector so that I could connect up to those trading bases. So, realistically, this is my fault. And oh, jeez. Bouncy, bouncy, right at the very end. We'll drive here through a couple titanium trees. I knew it! I knew I was going to bounce off this thing. Boing. Jeez, you're just a tree. Like, come on. You're not supposed to cause this much stoppage of, like, 1.5 million kg freaking rover. Ugh. It's ridiculous. But we left here many months ago and went on an adventure. And now we are back with a much larger rover and many, many stories to tell about our travels. And another tree to bash into. Clear the way into the Horseshoe Oasis a bit. Park ourselves up. We have made it! Oh my god, we did it. Okay. Now, we'll go fly around in, where is my spectator camera? I had left it really far behind here. What I'm gonna do is quickly, I'm gonna turn on every single GPS. And it's gonna take me a minute here. So, I'll cut this out. Can I turn, oh, can I not select multiple? Please allow me to select multiple GPSs so I can turn them all on at once. But I'll be right back. Alright, so that is every single waypoint on. And this, oh my god, it's waypoint everywhere. Oh, wow. Look at all these waypoints. Okay, so I am... Where am I right now? That's a good idea. Where am I right now? I totally just lost my own position. That is the peninsula. And then there's the South Pole. I know what I could do. You can go to GPS. And you can go to the Horseshoe Oasis. And I can change this color. There we go. I just gotta look for the red one. Nine mixed signals. Oh, there it is. Oh, wait. It didn't work. Oh, there it is. Now it updated. Waypoint Horseshoe Oasis. Okay. So, this is where it all started. I was dropped off here in my Bison, ready to go on an adventure. From here, we actually came over... where is it? Ah, right here! My first little diggy hole just to get some materials. My Bison was parked right here outside. There should also be, if I'm not mistaken, a hole to get some ice. Did I end up doing that? No, I didn't need to get any ice then. I was fully charged, ready to roll, and we took off across the surface here, marking up our first bits of silicon, ice, and going across the initial bits of the Badlands. Much easier to navigate with a smaller craft. Some cobalt there. I really wiggled back and forth just going over to different places here. Got a little bit. There's an ice there, and I think I carved out a little bit of ice at this oasis. Yes, I did. Here's one of my ice holes, one of many that I will make as we headed towards the let me turn this to, oh god, not all on. That hurts. No names, that's better. Got our silicon. Moving up this hill as we found our magnesium, and I definitely dug on down to that magnesium. I dug straight down to it, and then I had to dig my way out. Got our way up this hill and into the center to make it to the mountain oases. I remember that. I remember I sat over here in this hillside. Yeah, and I dug down to these resources. I remember this. Oh man, this is gonna be like, it's gonna be like memory lane, going down all these different places, my little diggy holes as we came down off that hill. Where was the dragon's tooth again? It was one of these rocks out here that I remember being like, damn, that's a cool rock. I think it was after... Oh yeah, there it is. The dragon's tooth. It was over here. I don't know why. I just like this rock. It's just... It's not that terribly big, but it's just so... perfectly, like, looks like a traffic cone almost, like just in the middle of a flat area, just dunk. I love that little thing. We continued heading off in this direction. We got some nickel there. I don't know how I got over onto this side. I don't know why I was over there. And if I look from the inside, I like went 1, 2, 3 along there, and then over to this nickel, and then back. Why did I not do any resources along here? I guess I just missed them. We headed along, getting all of these waypoints, and making our way across our first chasm here. Had a nice low area, very easy to drive over. As we drove and drove. Another piece where I got some ice to refuel. And kept making my way. Where's the iron there? I turned right for some reason to go this direction. I don't know when I got these things. Did I get those and then double back in order to... Oh, no, wait, this... Oh, where did it all go? Oh, it must have gotten removed, but this was the spot for the, This is where I sieged that camp. Yeah, I remember. This has to be the spot where I sieged that camp. Because I plugged in here to recharge. I guess the rest of the camp just must have gotten removed by cleanup, because it had no power. Let's catch the sun up to me. There we go. Because I made my way. How did I get down here? I drove down right here and I drove across, and then I plugged in the bison. This is back when I had the trailer, and we got some resources from these various spots here. I didn't get any ore, iron, nickel there. I was just picking up ice to refill all of my engines and all my tanks. Right. And then I continued along. And then I went back across, right? And then I continued along this way, running into various ore deposits. And then here, And am I going back to start? I feel like I'm still going in the right direction. I should always be heading towards the sun. Just driving across the hillsides here. Where was the next cool event that occurred? Ah, yes, we got to here. I had my little, oh god, that thing died, didn't it? I had my little scout drone. And we went and saw the river delta. And, I had originally called this, like, a fluvial plain or something like that. It was completely wrong. This was a delta into what could have been a sea or a very large lake. You can see the nice terrain for it. Drove along the outside to the right here, drove up, grabbed some resources from there, and continued on. Oh my god, I'm remembering. Okay, then we drove along here and we crossed first. We went down there, up, round over here, and then up, and there was the enemy base up on this hill. Yes, the pirate station here. There it is. There's the last little remnants of the pirate station. We saw the station and we're like, we're not taking that out normally. So I went back across over here and I went to the oases and I mined a bunch of ice from it. Powered up. We spent some time here building a cruise missile onto my trailer because that's silly. Then took the trailer back over here all the way up on the left, got these nodes, parked right around here, and then fired my cruise missile at it, only to have it get completely shredded by the turrets in just a few seconds. Then, on one of the streams where I was doing that, I went, okay, well, save, and then turn on creative, and let's see what actually needs to happen in order for me to hit this thing with a cruise missile. I needed to have multiple missiles firing at once, and they needed to have wings, and it was like, too much work. So I'm like, why don't I just sap this thing? And so that's what I did. We drove back down around there, we caught up to here, parked the vehicle, and then I went down the tunnel and up right into the center of the main tower that was here. Then proceeded to grind down the entire base and leaving nothing but this stub to remember it by, turning that into the beginnings of the Mastodon. Taking the Mastodon, now I could cover some serious terrain. We headed off in this direction, covering great amounts of terrain. Oh, raiding this base. I remember this base. We also plugged into it with all of this infrastructure there. And continued along here. Ooh, my bridge! There's one of the multiple bridges that I have made. Got the Mastodon across. Although I'm pretty sure I could have driven this right here. If I had gone a bit further, gone back around a little around over here, I could have driven that. But hey, the bridge was fun. Then we came this way, drove up and over, not that ridgeline, not that saddle there, this one. This way, across here, and then out and around this ridgeline, and then down this side to take out this base, raiding it for supplies. Because at this point I was still low on things like silver, because I need to make medical components in order to get my medical room on the Mastodon fully equipped. So this place had a medical room, if I'm not mistaken. I ground it down, destroyed most of the rest, and left it here to burn. Drove my way out and continued the drive across the sandy dunes, up and over the ridgeline, and down through this gully. And oh god, how did I get down here? I think at some point this is where I just sort of like, okay, whatever, let me just roll right here, right? At this point I was just like, whatever, and I just drove fast and leaped off this cliff, and I realized the Mastodon is not so small of a ship. Oh, didn't I do that over here too? Where's that? Yeah. I leaped down into here, and this is my first drills where I popped terrain using my Mastodon's drill bits. And then I built a ramp out of here, didn't I? I guess it must have despawned. That's too bad. But drive across the desert, continuing along this way, moving my way through these various bits here. Probably got some ice. Nope, didn't stop there. Just catch the... Oh, we're nearing the pole now. The sun is in a weird angles. And making some good progress through here. Grabbed some... Nope, didn't need any resources there. Ah, this is where I plugged in the boosters. Right here. This is the ramp I use the boosters on. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm getting up here. I don't want to build another ramp. Why don't I just put a rocket engine on the back of my rover? And it worked. And I boosted my way up the hill. And thankfully I actually did that because I haven't been able to drive the thing properly without the boosters ever since. And we reached the North Pole. Now, we are currently... I have no idea how far away from... Oh, there's the Horseshoe Oases. Whatever that is, like 40, 50 kilometers. Leaving the North Pole, we heading... Well, any direction is south here, but heading straight south. Crossing various resources as we're fairly easy driving. Not a lot to do, except just roll. Where was the next event that happened? We got up here, and we just kept rolling. Was there... Oh, no, wait. This was like, right here. Right here. I drove down or leaped down off of this, and then there was an assert base over here, wasn't there? Over on the right. Did I destroy it completely? I remember there being an enemy base around here. I might be crazy, but I think I remember this terrain. It's so strange. My memory is so visual. Like, if I see a piece of terrain, I'm just like, oh, yeah. I've been here before. Yeah, definitely. I was right here. There's the holes. I was hiding the Mastodon here, and the enemy base was literally right over here. Right here. There's the enemy base. So it has despawned. But this is where the enemy base had carved some area out. Fought that thing. That was actually really fun. I remember having to retreat to here. Didn't get any power on it, though. But then kept on going. Oh, one of the first times that I set the rover just to auto drive as we cross the desert here. Up on the other side. And, God, such a long expedition I went on. Kept on going. Through this gap here. Got some drills. I think it was just for some stone. Although, was this the beginning of using... No, this just still seems like man... Yeah, that's still a man tunnel. I have not... Oh, me experimenting with, like... scraping away as I drive. But it has turned out to be a silly endeavor. I don't think I've made my drones yet. I don't believe I have. And then I need to cross this mountain range. So we find a nice valley to go into. And we took a hard left, I believe. Go this way, up and over, and then down this valley. Through here. And continuing on again with another desert crossing. Autopilot engaged. Roll across the desert as I worked on the interior of my ship. Just getting back to the controls right before we crash into a mountainside sort of thing. Up and over we go. And where I didn't do many waypoints around this location. Although I did get some over here. Got some nickel. One of my first golds as well. We go down for this magnesium. Yes, I remember. I had to stop here, and I needed to make bullets because I simply did not have enough. Somewhere along here, I added in the Gatlings and started using those. The rotor turrets. Silicon. Oh, okay. Now that is a gopher tunnel. That's too big for man tunnel. So this is, I had the gopher by then. All these different resources, some more magnesium. Oh, there's another tunnel. That is, yep, another gopher tunnel to get some iron. And then back on down to here, across, up the other side, and continuing on. Canyon. Drove far, had to get some iron here in order to build enough stuff to create the canyon. The big drop. The actual, like, I really needed to bridge this. And it's still there. Yeah, well, I mean, I left a wind turbine on it, so it would be still powered, but I actually built that up. God, that was a frightening ordeal. Many a times I was halfway across it, building it, and then, like, lightning storms here. And I'm like, oh, dear God. And had to quickly drive back to the other side and not explode. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God, there's so much stuff that happened on this playthrough. Ah, the lost welders! There they are! My lost welders! After building the bridge, had that driving along, going a little bit too quickly here, and kerplunk, they hit the terrain. They made a pretty good divot out of the terrain when they hit. And there we go. We've got some lost welders just laying there, waiting to be recovered at some point in the future. Continued along here. As far as I know, pretty uneventful. There's some silicon there. Another big flat area I just zipped across because there was no enemies. But we have a salvage where I did connect to it. And also, this is the one that had the spontaneous combustion when I disconnected, which I was like standing on it. I'm like, let me just disconnect you. And then everything just went kablooey. And I fell down onto the ground. Didn't take any damage. I'm like, okay, I guess that works. But that, I remember this, that refueled my tanks and refueled my batteries, and I was just a happy camper. Plus, I spent the time when I was plugged in, mining out a bunch of iron at the nearby node. Oh, that was a really good point to refuel, rearm, repair, and do a bunch of resources gathering. Then continued another desert, crossing this, flying through here, and making our way. Nothing exciting in this area. Don't see any tunnels. I think we might have gone off to the side if there was a wreck. I can't remember if there was or where there was wrecks, because they're not showing up anymore. But continued our way through here, and here's another wreck. Got to this guy buried in the dirt. He was the Tempest. And then we found another very important challenge. A bit of iron there. How the hell do I get up this thing? I had multiple ideas. I was going to build a giant ramp. I was going to build like a tunnel from the bottom to the top. I was going to build like a roadway around the side of it. And then I'm like, what if I just climbed it like Spider-Man and put thrusters on the top of my bison and just drove up? And that was like one of the best things ever. And then on the other side, I just drove over the other side. And I like drove back along the edge like this. And I just drove back and then drove down. And I'm like, what up? Like, what are you going to do about it? I'm amazing. Also, if I'm not mistaken, this is where I made the Raven. I made the Raven here, and one of its first flights was to fly out over this desert. Go and scout where I was going to go next. And as I was doing my autopilot through this desert, I was just cruising along, because this was probably the longest desert we've been in. A long-ass desert of nothing. I was flying around the Raven back and forth. And again, move the time of day. Although, ooh, and again, we're approaching the other pole here. We've got the South Pole. So we circumnavigated the planet there. 60 kilometers width or so around the outside. Continuing on from the South Pole, we've got the whole kit and caboodle now. We've got the Mastodon, we've got everything we think of as what like a current setup is. We have the Mastodon with the Bison hangared inside. We have the Gopher, we have the Cyclops, we have the Raven. And we're just kicking ass. Up and over here and to this wreck. And if I'm not mistaken, where was the oh, there it is. Yeah, there was a base that we went and traded at for a while. And we deposited a bunch of material, sold them all off, and that's the entire reason I have that connector on the side of the Mastodon, was to connect to this base. Going from there, we continued on this way, going towards the next target. Okay, gotta move that sun. Across another bit of desert, heading up this valley, although grabbing a bunch of resources while we were here, and weaving our way. If I remember correctly, this was one of the times when I flipped back to the Raven and went, oh, I'm glad I flipped back in time because I was about to fly into a cliff. Let's turn. I think I was flying into that cliff there. But down this valley, over and through these hills, and then again across another lake here. I don't think I mined out anything in this lake because I had plenty of resources at that time. But I remember there being, yeah, magnesium here. And me going, do I really want to stop? Because there's a ton of magnesium. And I should maybe take some. Then coming through here. Bumping over there. And getting to this oasis in which I fully refueled. Got a whole bunch of ice. Doing a bunch of plunge mining with my drills. And then took off. Going to the left here. And continuing on. Oh, beautiful. Across this bits of desert, up and over this ridge line. Nothing really exciting going on here. There's maybe a base or two that I took out that I missed on this fly through, but another wreck, the Hermes, plus a couple plunges to get some resources, and I think there was nothing really that much I wanted to salvage from this guy. Nothing that I truly needed. And then I took an abrupt right turn, headed off in this direction, drove on through as, where were we? Oh, wow. Right. There's this giant field of just a bunch of places because I was prepping to attack this base. And I was just going to gather a bunch of resources. And again, this base, this one was different because this one had the inhibitor fields, so I couldn't tunnel to it myself. But then I found out, oh hey, what if I just dig it with the gopher instead? So plunge down in here with the gopher, and then just use the gopher all the way through, drilling out all this stuff, shooting out all the turrets. This was after the warfare update, so I had the missile launcher now. So I was able to take out the turrets with the missile launcher, and then was able to make the plug-in so I could plug in the Mastodon and slurp up all the resources from this base before I continued on. And continue on, I did keep driving, nothing really exciting here. Just getting over some terrain, another oasis. Took a couple plunges there to get some more ice for hydrogen, and then arrived at the desert plateau, where I decided, screw driving over this, I'll just go down the cliffs. I don't need to build a bridge. Drove right through here with the bison, drove to the center with the bison, promptly turned around, came back, drove back through this little loop, and continued on, going in this direction. Ugh. That all-terrain bison made my life so much easier. Easily cut off like 3 episodes of bridge building and stuff. And then we enter the valley. We head on through the valley, finding all sorts of gold as we weave through, going through every little bit. There is both that mining base and there's an assert base over here. Cool looking assert base. But weave through the valley all the way through. Oh, where is the spot? This right here. I had to dig my way up and flatten out this area. There's also a spot, I believe it was right over here. This was the one way where you had to jump down and you weren't getting back up the other side. And then got all the way to the end, somewhere around here. There? No, one of these ending points was my ramp out of there. Where was it? I think it was back over here. I want to say that it was this one, except my ramp seems to have despawned, but I remember it being here. Then from here I was casually driving along, and then I drove right into this assert base as the ending credits were rolling. That, out of the entire series, that was my favorite ending credits. The fact that I had the credits rolling and then it was like Gatling guns going off. Oh wait, and then I had to turn around and still do some stuff. Ran from that assert base, got over here to the peninsula, which probably decided that I do not want to build another bridge, and added the wings to the bison, and flew the bison across using the downwards thrusters to keep me on the ground as I gained a bunch of speed, turned off the downwards thrusters, and lifted up with my gyros, allowing me to sail through the air, crossing the canyon. Jump back, parked it on the tailgate, and kept on driving. Got over this ridgeline, got down here. Did I refuel here? I did not. I just marked it up and entered the Badlands, right? Entered some annoying bits of driving. Last little bit of salvage. I believe this was the last one I salvaged. Got some various resources as well from there. Grabbed its various bits. Oh yeah, I grabbed its missiles. That was the main thing. And kept on driving. As we are getting close back to home. So many times I've wrapped around this planet. And I want to remove all this weather. There we go. And it just... Gotta move the sun constantly in order to see your stuff. And we entered the Badlands here. Driving along, grabbing these last waypoints as we got back to the Horseshoe Oases, shot up this last base, wherever its death is over here. All these various components waiting to be salvaged if I wanted them. Drove around here and parked up. That was my expedition around the planet. And oh my god, that took a long time, but I have to say that was really fun. Overall, this planet is phenomenal for driving on. Like, comparing that to Earth-like. Earth-like in the equatorial and the temperate regions is fine. Earth-like in the mountainous regions is horrid. But this planet, it's great. You can do circumnavigation of this planet with a rover. But that is going to be it. We have done it. We've circumnavigated the world. And all we have to do is wait for the company to come pick us up. But that will be in the future as we transition into Season 4 with industrial overhaul, water mod, and all sorts of other goodies. Thanks for watching. Good hunting out there, fellow space engineer.